Okey, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Minta maaf tadi ada sikit gangguan teknikal. Dapati internet drop, ada pembaikan di belakang di kawasan ini. InsyaAllah saya ingat sekarang saya boleh sambung balik. Saya start fresh balik seperti yang saya nyatakan tadi. Itulah selalunya bila kita pakai internet macam inilah keadaannya. It is the reality. Selalunya bila menginvolvekan virtual ni, keadaan yang macam ni selalu kita menghadapi. Cuma we have to take care ourselves lah. Kita tak boleh panik, tak boleh kelang kabut lah. Because it's normal. Then we are facing a new normal now. Because tadi internet line drop. Tuan-tuan setelah cakap 6 minit internet drop. Now the internet connected balik, dapat connected balik. Saya harap tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh bersabarlah. Bukan purposely doing it. Kadang-kadang yang tuan-tuan melihat saya lambat masuk tu adalah kadang-kadang internet line tak over clear di kawasan saya. Jadi ada sikit pembetulan. Jadi saya harap tuan-tuan yang dapat masuk ni saya ucapkan ribuan terima kasih kerana minta maaf banyak. Bukanlah sengaja dilakukan tapi internet drop, right? Suddenly there is no internet connection. Dia ada sikit pembetulan internet. Jadi hari ini saya nak sambung insyaAllah. Kau boleh masa yang terdekat about this now is 12.20 dah belah 11.45 tadi sampai 20 internet line gangguan. Tak apa, saya cuba cakap. Tengok saya tak tengok lagi siapa yang dapat hadir. I go straight to the point that I want to talk today. InsyaAllah semalam saya ada memberi sikit keterangan berhubung dengan how to do the co-creating. Sama ada co-creating, develop trust and confidence to the person that we discuss tu. Sama ada kita menggunakan dalam teknik masa kita buat coaching, ataupun sama kita perbincangan biasa, ataupun dalam sesi dialog dan sebagainya. Ini merupakan orang kata backdrop yang saya berikan pada tuan-tuan dan perempuan, dan tuan-tuan dan perempuan boleh guna pakai sebaik yang boleh mengikut keperluan, mengikut kehendak, mengikut atau cara tersendiri. Alright. Saya hanya menceritakan sedikit pengalaman supaya boleh kita share sama kita, bantu sama yang lain. Mudah-mudahan dengan melaksanakan ini dapatlah sikit berkat dan barakah dia. Jadi hari ini seperti yang saya nyatakan tadi, master course semang-semang bertajuk internal workplace dan external workplace. Dia satu, di mana tempat dalaman kita bekerja, di mana tempat luaran kita bekerja. Actually we start our work early in the morning when we wake up in the morning. Selepas kita sembahyang subuh, maka di situlah mula kita menjalankan tugas. That is what I call it, di dalam kepala ni dia panggil internal workplace. That is the first place we start when we do our work. When we wake up early in the morning, kita prepare, lepas mandi dan sebagainya, our mind is working on to the project or task in hand that we are going to face for the day, few months later on. Right? The second workplace would be the place whereby you go to the office. Itu dia bagi second workplace. Kebanyakan situ dia orang kata pejabat. Tapi kita punya pejabat pertama sekali di sini. Di pemikiran kita. Internal workplace. Sebab tu pertama kali kita kena jaga diri kita. It's our own self. Jadi buat permulaan ni saya ucapkanlah selamat datang dan terima kasih banyak-banyak kepada sahabat-sahabat yang sanggup tunggu ya. Saya dapati sini nampak ada 3 orang dah masuk. Cik Azrin Aminuddin, I think this is from PSMB ya, kalau tak silap. Yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Raja Masnah daripada Oman. Selamat datang Prof. I hope it's a good day for you Prof. Kemudian Tina, Puan Tina dan juga Dr. Amir Aris daripada Melaka Technical University. Alright, terima kasih, selamat datang. So now why is it suddenly I want to share what internal workplace and external workplace? Because when I've been coaching for long time, right? And now I've been receiving phone call from other people minta request to be coach. Jadi tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, I'm sharing. I'm not just sharing, there are people telefon, cik boleh dah coach saya dan sebagainya, berbagai-bagai jawatan. The idea is why they call? The idea is why they contact kita. Sebab seperti tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, saya mana ada advertisement sangat. Dalam Facebook saya pun saya tulis sharing saja. I'm not telling how good I am. I'm just sharing what I can share. Right? But the question why they call you, because as I said to you, the crowd know where to find the right thing. The community, we keep on giving the info to the community. It's up the community yang buat decision. But when you come to the crowd, they have no idea who you are, but they know who they're looking for, they know what they want. So itu pertama kali yang saya share dengan tuan-tuan dan perempuan. Terus saya kira lah you buat consultant ke coaching dan sebagainya. Dan saya berpeluang berjumpa pagi ni sebelum saya ni dengan beberapa coach dan juga consultant dan juga dulu lecturer dan juga seorang CEO dan advisor ekonomi dan sebagainya, kita dapat berbincang. Selalunya kalau kita tengok balik dalam tempat kita bekerja sekarang tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, itu yang kata kadang-kadang people are not doing the first work, they are doing the second work. Itu dia. Itu pun saya cerita, itu dalam, kalau tuan-tuan baca dalam pagi ni, saya ada tulis, alright, in my renung pagi Khamis. Dalam renung pagi Khamis, kalau tuan-tuan ada terbaca, sini saya baca sedikit ulangan yang saya tulis pagi tadi, renungan pagi Khamis, iaitu saya kata, kaedah cara bagaimana kita boleh memperkukuhkan kualiti dialog di dalam pasukan. So, when we improve the way we speak, the way we communicate, the way we keep our dialogue to the person in front of us, itu pun salah satu yang terbaik. Sebab itu Nabi pernah kata kita kena cakap benda yang baik-baik. We must talk something which is good. Many people say, yes, we have to be positive. Then when they start talking, positive tu hilang, lenyap, hilang, tak bermaya. Yang timbul negatif. Because they keep asking why. The first thing they tanya, what's your problem? Now we go straight to the problem without knowing the fact what it is all about. Jadi dalam penulisan saya ni, saya kata seringkali kita bertanya bagaimana cara kita untuk mengukuhkan kualiti dialog dalam pasukan mengikut 3 tahap perkembangan yang berbeza. Ini I bawa kepada teamwork pada pekerjaan kita. Pertama sekali, dalam pekerjaan sekarang ni, kalau orang putih kata continuous improvement, Melayu kata peningkatan berterusan. This is what we have been doing. Kat universiti ke di mana pun, this three thing yang saya nampak very glaring dan nyata. Yang kedua, pengurusan aliran nilai ataupun value stream management. How you go about and getting improve or add on value on your value stream management. The third one, yang ketiga, macam mana nak buat business model transformation. Now, during the COVID, after COVID, these are the in thing people are talking. But the tool how to do it still are not yet rampant being used. Alright. Jadi, Melayu kata transformasi model perniagaan. Jadi dengan apa yang saya cakap di sini, sekurang-kurangnya kalau kita tahu cara macam nak berinteraksi antara satu dengan lain, maka sinilah letaknya. First started with the internal workplace, follow with the second external workplace. Dan di sini juga saya ada sebut kesimpulan. Alright, kesimpulan dalam ringkasan yang saya buat renung pagi Khamis, iaitu RPK 24. Okey. Kesimpulan, kalau kita buat hipotesis, kita kemukakan bahawa untuk menjadi kita lebih kata beri kemanusiaan, organisasi perlu sengaja berkembang. Sengaja berkembang, itu dia kata, Laum Syekh kata deliberately developmental organization. Deliberately developmental. Maksud dia, you do what to your best, walaupun silap dan terbaiknya, itu the way you do it. Kadang-kadang kita improvise the way we want it, sampai dia tu punya hakikat, cara dia pun dia kena ubah totally. Sometimes it's not real. So sekarang ni barat dia menggunakan deliberately developmental organization, dia ada menggunakan emotional agility, dia bercakap tentang agility dan sebagainya. Asas yang saya sebut inilah asasnya. Sebab tu, kalaulah kita dapat mendengar cara orang tu cakap, maka kita selesailah teknik kita sebagai manusia. Sebab we must address you as a human being, not as a mechanic, not as a machine, not a mechanism to get the result. Now they come to the point whereby they say, okay, dia punya manpower development equal to profit of the organization. Unjuk kata, kalau organisation tu manpower dia tak develop, profit dia pun tak develop. Sebab tu dalam exponential organization, they're talking about 100 times, 20 times, 30 times. Development, bukan 10%, 20%. So berbalik pada tajuk saya cakap tadi, apa yang katakan internal workplace dan external workplace. Okey, selalunya orang buat kerja situ ikut dia punya emotional ataupun experience dalam diri dia menjalankan tugas. Sama ada dia sendiri, secara tak langsung kita macam ada our own script bila kita menjalankan tugas. Kita start macam mana pembukaan, percakapan kita sebagainya. Jadi selalunya orang kalau dia buat sesuatu, dia mengikut cognitive map, peta pemikiran dia yang selalu dia guna pakai. Kadang-kadang tanpa dia sedari, unknown to him. That is the first workplace, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Kalau tuan-tuan berani rajin observe, because I've been learning, observing, bagi feedback dan sebagainya. Seringkali kita tengok seseorang tu cakap unconsciously bagi dia, tapi dia start, that's the way he start. Dia start dengan bermula sesuatu yang ada di kepala dia. When did you go to the second workplace, whereby we call it external workplace? Bila pergi external workplace, apa yang people is that? Selalunya dia bermula dengan cerita dia dulu yang dia buat. This is I've been doing, kalau kita mengajar, kalau kita coaching, kita been telling what we are doing. But di dalam kedua-dua tu dia melibatkan dua. Satu yang pertama external workplace dan internal workplace, iaitu dia melibatkan meaning making dan sense making. Macam mana kita beri makna sesuatu yang kita buat. Actually in coaching, nothing actually, the truth, the whole thing is about meaning making and sense making. That's two things only. So better sharpen up on that area. Kalau tidak, kita jadi macam robot, macam mesin. Alright, so we want to be more human, less machine. So the idea I'm sharing with you there, so that kita realize, right, these people in front of us ni memang orang hebat. Sebab Allah kata dia, aku jadi manusia khalifah di muka bumi. Allah sebut dalam Quran. No matter who you are, what you are, you are still the best in the world. And kita pun survive. We are the chosen one. Selepas itu, kita yang dilahirkan menjadi manusia dan jadi insan yang terbaik. Dan dari segi internal workplace ya, kadang-kadang kita ada berlaku the flow of thought, pemikiran. Kadang-kadang kita berfikir tentang the way we give meaning. Kadang-kadang cerita satu apa yang dalam kepala kita. Kadang-kadang duk fikir. Actually kita never go far, but kita musim-musim apa di pemikiran kita. Dan juga begitu juga melibatkan kita punya personality, cara pembawaan kita. Sebab tu kalau tuan-tuan nak mengetahui bagaimana rasanya a real coach, meet a real coach that coach you, give you the real feeling, the real meaning of coaching. Sekarang ni tak kira lah what I'm sharing that add on. Kalau kita tak add on, tak boleh. Jadi rupanya berlakunya workplace ni bukan satu, tu workplace. Bila seorang buat kerja tu berlaku pertembungan dua tempat bekerja tanpa consciously. Because I've been coaching a lot people, right? I've been meeting a lot of people. So I think it's time for me to share, right? So kalau tuan-tuan dan puan rasa ada keperluan nak penerangan lanjut pada saya, silalah tulis dan saya akan share setakat yang boleh. Sebab apa yang saya katakan sini mungkin setengah dari sahabat kita mungkin dah pun dapat peluang melihat sesuatu, ataupun ada setengah orang dia tak dapat berpeluang melihat sesuatu. Tetapi yang saya cerita ni, apa yang saya lalui, mudah-mudahan memberi sikit input kepada tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Sebab kadang-kadang kalau tengok di output, kita can move backward to know what's the input like. Itu somehow rather anyone who has a very strong cognitive development. Alright. Bila kita berkembang balik dari situ, kalau tuan-tuan tengok kadang-kadang, dia berlaku dalam, ingat saya kata skrip tu, mengikut self-awareness dia. Setengah orang dia punya skrip, kalau dia mula-mula dia buat kerja selalu, dia berfikir macam ni. Adakah sesuatu yang saya perlu buat? Adakah instrumen yang saya mesti ada? Itu lalu. Yang kedua, bagaimana saya nak melihat sesuatu supaya sesuatu yang saya laksanakan bersesuaian dengan kehendak SOP. Itu dia, SOP. Yang ketiga, kita juga kadang-kadang tengok, walaupun SOP ada, kita tahu apa yang kita boleh bantu orang, tapi kita kena ada satu nilai yang bersesuaian diri kita. Maka bila orang buat kerja di peringkat ni, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, dia banyak berfikir, banyak melihat, dia melakukan banyak observation. Dan dia bercakap jika perlu saja. Dan seterusnya. Tetapi map pula dalam segi fluidity percakapan dia pula, tertakluk peringkat mana, sejauh mana kemampuan dia mengulas sesuatu mengikut satu logika, kemampuan logika diri dia. Ataupun logika analytical. Okay. Yang kedua, mengikut di mana dia berada, di konteks mana, di dalam negeri ke, luar negara, di dalam office ke, di luar office. Dan ketiga, and then with whom you're talking to. Is it your boss, your colleagues, or dan sebagainya. Dan paling tinggi sekali, people are talking how to transform from one stage to another. Sebenarnya apa yang saya cakap ni merupakan penekanan memperincikan lagi apa yang sebelum tu pernah saya cakapkan. Sebab value creation happen in organization dialogue. Value creation bila berlaku di dalam office, perbincangan kita sama kawan-kawan kita, sama-sama kita organizational dialogue dan sebagainya. Because stories are created. Kita created contribution antara kita dengan orang sekeliling. Sebab tu yang kita ada terkeluar satu, kita pakai in our term we have a we spaces. We space. Kadang-kadang orang dia control cakap tak ada we space. I only space. Dan tak boleh macam tu. Jadi in the workplace ni there are two workplace. Internal workplace and external workplace. Because as higher up you meet the people, they have a strong internal workplace. Because internal workplace will be reflected in their external workplace. Jadi itu yang saya cuba ceritakan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, sebab we listen to what being said by the client in front of us. because we coach the person, not the problem. So we look at the person dengan seadanya. We listen to the way they construct the sentence, seperti yang saya sebut semalam. We listen to the way he put his focus of attention. When you know that, there's a connection. Sometimes he talk with a feeling. Sometimes he talk just what we say, the best on what you know. So if you think that you coaching people just to find a solution, are you helping them or what? Or you're forcing them to find a solution? By right, we just ask them to reflect what they can do to find the solution. Our work is to ask them to discover the solution, not to give the idea about the solution. So as you go higher level, these other people, they don't need us to give the information sometimes. They don't need us to give the answer. They know the answer. So no matter what we do, we have to understand who is talking in front of us. All right, is he a CEO? Is it HR? Or what? Because now everybody are doing something differently and they say, oh, he's better than that. It's up to you lah. I don't care. But as long as we do, when we ask people to do at their best, that's where the satisfaction comes in. That's where the aha position comes in with reality. You don't have to promote yourself. They will call you for more. So the opportunity is there for us if we are willing all the time to listen to them. Sometimes we say we listen, but whether you want to project yourself or you want to protect yourself, that's the difficulty when you do something. So in this case, when we do something, we listen to what being said and we try to build a relationship based on the utterances. I never memorize the question, but I'm looking at the person and try to construct the answer. But sometimes it takes time to get that fluidity on creating it. Sometimes you can listen to a person speak, there are so high fluidity. Sometimes there is small and very low fluidity. Some people are talking very, very clearly because they're based on their social emotional level or social emotional stage that allow them to see things. For us, maybe normal people is unknown, unseen, but to them, something that can be seen clearly. So now is, I do not know, maybe I have this talking about a few minutes, maybe if yang berbahagia Raja Professor from Oman, can you share a bit what you begin to see in my talking here so that I can give more idea. Mudah-mudahan apa saya cakap ni walaupun singkat, padat, because we are talking about internal workplace and external workplace. Maybe if some of you are not being exposed to that, maybe this is the first time I exposed to you, because we are listening to people when they speak. There are two things, and I did mention last time there are ways how to listen. There are one of them you can say you are listening, what we call it double listening skill. Another we say that you listen developmental listening skill, and then you listen to the person as it is and the way he construct the sentences. So dia punya meaning making tertakluk pada where he is, what he want to see, what he are looking for, because everything subject to dia punya frames of reference. Frame of reference that makes the difference between one another, because frame of reference started grounded from social, emotional and cognitive development. Jadi pertemuan pemikiran dan perasaan menyebabkan seseorang tu jadi more conscious. Sometimes he can go beyond than he expected what he can do. So now we are the one try to facilitate, because of course during the session we say that there is a learning session between the coach and coachee. That's where co-creating come in between the client and coachee. So not so much to say we are smarter than our coachee. No, he is smarter. He knows about himself. So we are talking to the person who is capable of handling all the issue that he can bear. Because remember, those who know the why can bear almost anyhow. Those who know the why can bear anyhow. So if that is the case, then to say we must be able to listen to the person, right? So from there, you don't have to ask so much question. You use a bit of reflective statement, or we call it what we call it reflective assessment, all right? Or in other way, we can ask somebody in a way that help them to look back from what they said that give the new meaning. So this reflective inquiry system or reflective inquiry help the person to look at himself beyond than what he used to see before. As a coach, we just holding the mirror. We are holding the mirror. So we must be able to do sometime we call it neuron mirroring, all right? Mirror, all these things we are saying that. But in order to do that, you need a lot of practices and to be mentored, right? Because maybe I'm sharing to you after a few thousand, right? 15,000, 20,000 hours of coaching. That's what I'm sharing with you. That's what I can give you some idea. This is just on kata some food for thought. For those who are doing well, I say all the best to you. I know you know better what is it to you, but I'm just sharing. But if you want to comment anything, I welcome you to comment here, because as far as concerned now, I cannot see anything what is being written here. I don't see anyone is written anything here. So I cannot comment. If there is anybody want to say anything, I welcome you, because very sorry, tadi when I was talking about 6 to 7 minutes, internet line dropped, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. At first, difficult for me to come in. At 11:45, I'm already here. Before 11:40, he's already here. But internet tak boleh masuk. And then after boleh masuk, dekat pukul 12, cakap about 6 minutes, internet line drop. So internet line drop, saya kena berhenti. That's why saya cari tempat, saya beritahu minta maaf, ada sikit gangguan internet line. So now baru dapat recover balik. So saya rasa sekurang-kurangnya mungkin what I'm talking here bagi sedikit maklumat kepada tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. I think, I do not know, mungkin sekarang ni saya dah cakap lebih kurang 20 minit atau 25 minit. Cukuplah. Sebab waktu ni untuk tuan-tuan dan puan-puan nak makan, nak berehat. Walau bagaimanapun apa yang sebut tadi, sesuatu yang buat yang kita cakap ni tertakluk kata our own world view. Yang mana world view kita rich dengan berbagai-bagainya. Sometimes people talk with ambiguous, very ambiguous statement. Sometimes they speak something unique due to their own personal way of life. So all these things, we are the one that keep on asking clarification question. Yang remember, selalu when I say that I want to be happy, kita straight, how do you know you're happy or not? That simple question, how does it look like when you're happy? That's simple as that. There's another way looking at it also. There are 1,000 ways of doing things, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Maybe you can do better than me. So I'm sharing with you only. If you feel this is okay, good, and you can share this to your friend. So I hope you can share to your friend so that before I delete or anything, they can have a rough idea what I've been talking here. Now I see here Adam Safiri. All right, Adam Safiri. Bagus saudara. So I don't know, Adam, what are you, a coach or teacher, consultant, or trainer? This is written by you. Thank you. Bagus in what way, Cik Adam? Thank you very much for your feedback. At least I know you are listening to me. But anyway, welcome for the rest. Maybe some of them tak ada kesempatan nak menulis. Jadi itulah sebab bila kita bercakap sesuatu, kita memerlukan maturity in our social emotional. Social emotional, kalau dari pembelajaran kita, kadang-kadang the way you speak to me, you bring out your script. I repeat, you bring out your script. The way you speak become a script to you unconsciously. So we can listen to that because we are not subject to. We listen to the word you say as an object for us to listen and look at it carefully. What you want, what is it clear to you, what is not so clear to you. Itulah sebab apa yang saya sampaikan. Sebab tu kata, if you are able to use that one other technique, a very popular technique, but certain people say they're not only asking question. There are way you want to change your life. Simple. Change your question, you change your life. That's the way. You change the way you think, you change your life. But another way, do you remember that? You can ask less question, but you need to use reflective inquiry. That is the best skill you can have. And another one, even is the best way to do it. Even with the close-ended question, people can speak coach very well. But compared to close-ended and open-ended question, there are more open-ended than close-ended question. Close-ended question, sometimes people use that to confirm what being said by the client. Is this what you mean? Yes, that's all. All right, but there are ways how to do it. It depends on your maturity, in your ability to have a very good dialogue, the way you listen to the conversation, and the way you value the relationship. Because when you do coaching, it is a matter of relationship between you and your client, you and your coachee, and you, whoever in front of you, your student or your lecturer or your professor, whatnot. That's the value that we are carrying all the time with ourselves. When we meet someone, either you want to having a good friendship, or you want to help them to find their own solution, or just a matter of to get some ideas. There are so many ways of doing it. So thank you very much kepada Cik Adam, Adam Shahrin. I feel I'm happy. At least I got some feedback. That means you are listening to what I say. Maybe the rest, they have no time to write. I know they are occupied. And then very lucky, alhamdulillah, ini kita nampak ada juga peserta-peserta daripada luar negara. Ya, mungkin sekarang dia orang dah keluar dah. Saya dapati di sini beberapa sahabat kita tadi, Raja Masnah, Profesor Raja Masnah ada, Dr. Amir Aris ada, dan beberapa lagi kawan-kawan lain. Mungkin sini dah hilang kot nama dia orang. Saya pun dah tak nampak dah. So I wish you all the best. If you feel this is good, you can share. Mungkin saya akan sambung lagi belah petang ni. Mungkin petang ni saya ada guest, right? Saya ada tetamu petang ni. You are willing to listen? Yes. Kemudian there will be a continuous talk between myself and yang berbahagia pakar apa? Kita kata tulisan, kajian tulisan, analysis, right? Handwriting analysis yang tu Dr. Azura. Kita akan buat kali kedua dengan dia minggu depan pada hari Selasa. You berminat, still at the same time hari Selasa 8.15 malam, you can see the second part of my talk, alright, my conversation with pakar dalam handwriting analysis, iaitu yang berbahagia Dr. Azura. Dan di samping itu juga saya juga akan buat kalau kesempatan petang ni pukul 5 atau 5.30 dengan beberapa orang coaches yang sudi masuk sembang-sembang. Nah, di sinilah kita sharing, right? Sharing what I'm trying to say here, because it's quite tough and difficult, but at least I share to you to make things to the best of my skill to depart what I have within me. Not pandai, tapi just sharing. Hoping that you comment that I can give more idea, I can give some information that I consider very beneficial, because as you know that everything is changing very fast. We are living in a world of uncertainty. We know we are expecting VUCA every day, because VUCA is not from the outside. VUCA is within ourselves. VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, the ambiguity. All this is within us. And then we live in a world whereby there is no answer. If there is no answer, we are the one keep on finding the answer, update and read it. You know that we have to update all the system. We have to update the computer, we have to update the handphone, we have to update everything. But do we update our knowledge to keep up with the changes outside? Coach, do you update your knowledge? Do you attend various other courses? Do you go for another? I have several mentor coach with me, local, international. I need to have somebody to mentor me. I'm all the time learning. So now I'm sharing to you. It's up to you. Saya hormatlah kepada tuan-tuan yang masuk sini, yang sanggup mendengar perbincangan saya yang serengkah yang ini. Jadi saya ingat it's already more than enough. I think I've taken a lot of time. Saya ucapkan ribuan terima kasih. Mohon maaf kalau silap cakap, laju cakap sebagainya. I think maybe after this I will give a few hours. After that I switch off. Alright. Saya ucapkan ribuan terima kasih yang sudi datang masuk walaupun tengah hari. Terima kasih banyak-banyak. Kita jumpa lagi kalau sempat pukul 5 lebih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.